The alteration done on this gown was lifting the bodice. The bust line was not setting on her body where it needed to. It was way too low. So I had to lift the body so that it would be able to fit her efficiently. Also, the body being too low, it also did not fit here as well. The gown was not laying flush against her skin. It was rippling and waving. It also was doing that in the back. So in order to get this gown to lay flush against her skin, I had to lift it in the shoulders on this style of gown. By lifting it in the shoulders, it brought the cup line up to her bust line where it needed to be so it looked natural. And I also had to do some alterations here in the side to close it in a little bit, because by the time it was lifted up, it was a little large here. So I've already completed the alteration in the shoulder line. I did this by removing all of the lace only in the area of where the alteration was going to be at. I did not need to remove all of this lace here or even in the bust line. I only removed the lace in the area of where I need to expose the seams that I will be working with and doing this alteration. So for this gown, it was done in the shoulders. I've already completed this alteration, so now I am needing to replace the lace, and I do that by hand. I have done this by machine. For me, I do not care for the machine technique when doing the body alterations with lace for a couple of reasons. One, if I'm doing it by machine, the threads and lacing, you're going to see all of it on the underside, and some brides, they have very delicate skin and they can feel the bumps and the ridges, and so I just choose not to do that. Also, I am not able to get to the underside of the lace, only it and the netting that it's attached to, because obviously it's sewn down in the armhole, so it's just going to create more work for me. So I choose to do this technique by hand. For me, it gives a more natural appearance of the gown being just as the designer had intended it to be. Now, if I'm working with lace on the bottom, on the hem, I do all of that by machine. But for the bodies, I always do the lace application in replacing it or adding whatever the lace is that's going on to the bodice. I always do that by hand. I have already started doing the lace alteration or the addition of the lace, putting it back on. I've already attached it to the armholes so that I can have something stable there, and I've already removed those pins. What I am doing is I sew little bitty tiny stitches. I use a very, very fine point needle. You can use what works for you. For me, I use a very fine point needle. It's hard to find them really long though. That's my only complaint, but these work just as well. By using the fine tipped needle, it allows me to have more detailed control into the small details of the interlacing of the lace without me disrupting the pattern of the lace. I do not want it to be seen that I've altered this gown. So this lace needs to be laying back just the way it was before it was removed. So I've already started on some of it, and I have a little bit more to continue. I'm probably about midway. So I've got quite a bit more to do. So I just wanted to share with you a little point of the lace and where you do the alteration.